Hello and welcome to Solopreneur, the show that helps business owners who are flying solo to solve their big sales, marketing and systems challenges one episode at a time. You can watch the video version of this episode at solopreneur.com. I'm Gareth Everson, and on today's episode I'm going to be talking about ways that you can help people in your network when they have this common question that you'll often see on Facebook forums or LinkedIn, where they're asking the question of what CRM would you recommend? I'm going to break this topic down in two ways. In the first part of the episode, I'm going to break down what I call CRM bingo, and you'll recognize it as we go into it. Some of the common failings of these requests on social media. And in the second part of the podcast, I'm going to be talking you through the kind of ways that you can help somebody to come to a decision about which CRM would work best in their business. So let's get into the first part of that, the CRM bingo. If you want to download your own bingo card and play along with this as you go, if you go to solopreneur.com/Ep27, on there you'll see a bingo card that you can share with your network or keep score whenever you see this question of what CRM should I choose come up on social media. And there are 5 on here. So let's see which ones you've seen before or which ones come up when you next see this question. The first one on our bingo card is that the request that's posted in the Facebook business group or on LinkedIn doesn't really have any context for the request. So somebody is asking for a CRM recommendation, but they're not giving any context whatsoever into what they need for their business, how their business runs, what their funnel looks like, or the outcomes that they're looking to achieve. So first one, no business context. The second common failing that you'll see when somebody makes this request is replies that focus on a standalone CRM. If you followed the podcast for a while, you'll have heard me talk about the concept of all-in-one CRM and the importance of your CRM being able to do multiple different functions so that you're not logging in and out of lots of different software. You have a coherent view of the contact record and that you're able to segment how you manage your activities into different ways. So if you see responses on these posts highlighting software that's like Capsule CRM or the basic version of HubSpot or things like Pipedrive, Monday.com. These are all common solutions that are very much a single solution CRM. Whilst they're good software for that single purpose, it takes a lot of effort to connect those pieces of software with things that make a meaningful difference for you by way of your follow-up marketing. None of them are that straightforward to connect up with an email marketing software, for example. So we want to avoid this scenario where there are recommendations of a standalone CRM that requires sort of PhD level understanding of how to link together software, or that will end up in some sort of Zapier digital spaghetti of trying to join up software that is just really quite difficult to do so. This is becoming ever more challenging to manage as email marketing requires more and more sort of technical thought through about the way that email service providers are handling emails that come in. Standalone CRMs aren't great at managing and picking up on people opting out or unsubscribing from emails. They're not great at being able to have a record of GDPR opt-in, that kind of thing. They're also not great at being able to, at the other end of the sales funnel, being able to trigger things like quotes, proposals, getting paid, that kind of thing. So the second item on our CRM bingo is recommendations for a standalone CRM. The third item to tick off on your CRM bingo is where people will recommend a piece of software that is just not a CRM at all. It doesn't have capabilities of being able to manage different pieces of information, demographic information or behavioral type information about a contact record. And a really common one is people recommending things like an email service like MailChimp or something like that. Great software in its own right and in its own place and in its own little vacuum, but really not that good in terms of being able to manage what you need to understand and track in a CRM. What you want a CRM to do at the very basic level is being able to have information that relates to the contact, what we call demographic information that speaks to who they are, where they are, the kind of custom information that relates to your business, but also things like being able to have tasks and notes and tracking type activity for what those people are doing. That's ever so important as a central function of a CRM. And just recommending an email tool by way of example or a project management tool by way of example just won't do that at the contact level. The fourth thing that you'll see come up when somebody posts in this nature is just replies that simply tag some random person. No context whatsoever, but it's just tagging somebody into the conversation with no explanation as to why. That doesn't serve anybody that well. It doesn't serve the person that's asked for the CRM recommendation because there's no context as to why that person is being tagged. It doesn't serve the person who is being tagged because in all likelihood, there's no real structure as to what that inquiry type is. So are they a good fit for that person if they are, in inverted commas, a CRM expert? And the third group that it doesn't help at all are the people who are interacting with that forum, either to see and understand for their own business what might work for them, or to be able to help guide the person that's asked the question in the first place, what might be a good solution or a good solution provider to recommend to somebody. So somebody just tagging names into their replies doesn't serve anybody that well. And then finally, the fifth one, and if we're going for the full house of CRM bingo, you'll see this one as well in there. It's people recommending some sort of custom CRM or custom built software solution to the person that's asked the question. This one really gets my goat, especially in this day and age when we have literally thousands of pieces of small business software that we can choose between online. There is no real need, there is no real complexity in any one particular business model that really can't be solved by either an all-in-one solution that's out there, perhaps by making some compromises with processes, or by combining together a couple of point solutions that would do this more cost effectively than a custom built solution. With custom build CRM, you're going to be paying a lot more for that development activity. The company that are doing it aren't going to do that for free. They might be reusing stuff that they've done for others, in which case you might be making compromises. And if you are getting what you might consider a bargain, you're probably making compromises by way of design or usability or scalability, or in terms of, is this going to be fit for purpose for your business in a year or two's time when key things are changing? GDPR changed, the way that email service providers, the likes of Outlook and Gmail, are now accepting or not accepting emails into inboxes that you're sending to has completely changed dramatically. There are a whole variety of different ways that custom build software will just cause you problems further down the line, either expensive support costs, expensive further development costs, or something just not working. This recommendation comes from somebody that built my own CRM and marketing automation software as a service for my subscribers. So take that as forewarning that you probably are better served not going down the custom build route when it comes to fulfilling the needs that you've got for your own CRM solution. So those are my 5 in terms of CRM bingo. There are others that come up, but those 5 responses that you get on social media, you'll see really prevalently. by all means, if you see these coming up, respond with bingo or that you've scored full marks and tag in solopreneur.com/EP27 for the reasons why that you're tagging a CRM bingo response when you see these kind of replies happening on social media. The part of the whole CRM bingo that always both frustrates me and confuses me at the same time is you are making a decision for your business about the key central piece of software that will help you run it. So if you're posting onto social media without the context that's important for you being able to make a decision, or you're jumping off the back of somebody tagging some utterly random person who has no credibility whatsoever with you or your more closer network and going and having conversations with those people off the bat, you're probably bringing on yourself problems further down the line. I would encourage you, if you've made these mistakes in the past, to revisit why that happened and pay attention to the next part of our podcast that talks about things that you can do to help counter some of these issues that you might face as you've played CRM bingo. So how can you help yourself or help that person that's asked that question more effectively? I've got 4 recommendations for you that I believe that you should follow in order to be able to do that. So the first one is, let's understand that person's business model a whole lot better. If you followed the podcast for a while, you'll know that our methodology is the Lemonade plan. Lemonade is the 8 processes in any small business, going from leads, which is the first L of Lemonade, all the way through to the final E of Lemonade, which is endorsements. How do you get reviews, referrals, or repeat sales? And all of those 8 steps in between, leads, how you educate, how you get meetings, how you make offers, how you onboard new clients, how you add on additional work to that original agreement, how you deliver the work, and then how you get endorsements for what you do, are the 8 key sales and marketing processes in any small business, especially a service-based business. So what we want to understand in order to be able to help somebody to make a decision about which CRM they need are which of those processes are more important than others. I work especially well with businesses that have, for example, long follow-up cycles, businesses that where their clients or their customers take a while to decide that they want to move forward with a service. So for me, in my business and the kind of clients that I'm working with, that first E, education, is an ever such an important process that they need to get right. So if the person who's making that request has that similar scenario in their business, we want to be looking at a CRM that has both lead management capabilities, contact management capabilities, but also the ability to do follow-up marketing, probably including email marketing, probably including landing pages and lead magnets, probably also including other ways of interacting with contacts, maybe SMS capabilities, integrations with your social media, direct messages, that kind of thing. So in that context, education is ever so important. There'll be other businesses where that's way less important, and somebody that comes to their website is pretty much ready to buy. And an example I give of that is if you've ever broken your key in your lock at home and you need an emergency locksmith, that locksmith business doesn't really need lots of follow-up marketing in order to turn inquiries into clients. So what they need in terms of an ability to be able to capture leads and sign up new clients and get them over the line is something that's able to respond to that inquiry really quickly and trigger something that moves things into action very, very quickly. And once that work has been delivered For the locksmith, it's important that they get really good testimonials and reviews on the work that they've done that they can post to social media. So do you see the difference? When we think about processes for the business that we're trying to help, try and put it in the context of those 8 key sales and marketing processes that are part of Lemonade Plan. If you want to dig into this further or make a recommendation to somebody about how to explore that a little bit more, episode 17 of this podcast, which you can find at solopreneur.com/EP17, has lots more detail on the Lemonade process. So the second way that you can help somebody is to help them to understand that there are 3 core types of CRM. And I covered this on episode 21, which you can find at solopreneur.com/EP21. So there are 3 core types of CRM. Most businesses need functions that come from at least 2 of these. Let me take you through the 3 of them. The first one is your CRM being able to do marketing automation functions. So in that scenario that I described to you of somebody that needs a longer term follow-up with leads to turn them into clients, that's what we describe as marketing automation functionality. So if you in your business are very busy and spending time with clients or working on the projects that you're signing up, and you need your marketing to be able to function and run in the background without too much manual intervention, you need good marketing automation capabilities from your CRM. So you'd be looking for a CRM that combines with email marketing and what many call workflows or campaigns that have step-by-step activities that are happening off the back of a trigger taking place. That trigger might be somebody leaving their details on your website, opting in for a lead magnet. It might be somebody booking an appointment with you. It might be somebody moving forward to a quote or a proposal process. All of those are great triggers for something to happen that requires some level of marketing automation on the back end. And usually in this day and age, that relates to email marketing functions. So the first type of CRM is one that has marketing automation capabilities. The second part, and this kind of leads on from the first, is that it has some sales management capabilities. What do we mean by that? Well, if you work in a business where you're going and quoting for activities with your clients, you're creating proposals, you're drafting something off the back of conversations with people that's perhaps either custom for them or describes to them in more detail the work that you will do in return for their investment in working with you, those are sales management capabilities. The other key sales management capability that CRMs often have is some sort of sales pipeline. You'll have seen kind of card-based systems where you have columns of different stages of your sales pipeline that you're able to move opportunities or inquiries between those different stages. So your first stage, for example, might be an inquiry is made and you're dealing with that and you're managing that. And then you're moving them into the next column or the next part of the process that is all about qualifying the lead. Once they're qualified, they might move to a meeting or a quote type stage. And then afterwards, you're moving them to another column, for example, that might be one, or it might be go and deliver that. So having that management capability to manage sales opportunities at different stages is another key function that will be required by certain types of businesses. So that second type of CRM is a sales management CRM. Really good ones that do this in isolation are products like Pipedrive. That does sales management very, very well. It hones in on that. What it doesn't do particularly well, by contrast, are functions like email marketing or stage-based automations based on people moving between those activities. But if sales management is to the fore, you'll be recommending or you'll be encouraging them to go and look at CRMs with sales management capabilities. The third type of CRM is what I would describe as operational CRM. So this is where you have or you need capabilities whereby a client signs up and you have various different activities that need to relate to that client's activities with you. So it's maybe industry specific, or it's specific to a regulatory process of managing that interaction with somebody. So if you work in heavily regulated markets like financial services or property, or you're dealing with children, for example, operational components of a CRM are really important features to look for. So if this person that's making the request is in a particular industry where there is an element of operational process that needs to be followed, especially regulatory type stuff, they might be better served to look for a CRM that is specific to that industry niche or specific to that particular way of operating, or work with an expert who is good at managing the more generic all-in-one CRMs that do a variety of different functions but have a good understanding of the operational processes that run in that business. Operational can also apply to businesses whereby once the work is signed up, there are certain things that need to happen in order to get that job done. So, for example, there are a number of different trades that are out there where for somebody to go out and do that job with a client, they need a job worksheet. That is another element of operational type CRM. So, if operational as a function is something that's important into the mix, however, they also need one of those other two functions. This is probably where they need to be starting to think about, is there, instead of looking at one particular CRM, is there a way to combine both the operational along with one of those other functions, the marketing automation or the sales management? There are other types of businesses where actually they don't need to go deep on any one of those three types of CRMs, but they do need elements of all three. And there are some good all-in-one CRM solutions that are out there that will provide smatterings of all three of those core components that you might be able to implement in that client business. Good examples at the expensive end, HubSpot with all of its components is a great one for managing that if they've got the budget to do so. At the more medium end of the market, products like Go High Level, which is a white label CRM, it does lots and lots of different functions. You might see that branded in different ways by high level agencies that have licenses for that, but brand it in their own different way and combine those core components across automation, sales management, and operations. That's another good one to look at there if they need a breadth of those functionalities around the three types of CRMs. The next part of your recommendation that I want you to help them think about is, what's the duration that they need this CRM for? Is it for an immediate and short-term need, in which case a really simple off-the-shelf solution might serve that need? Or is this going to be something that they will implement and use for multiple years down the line? The reason I say that is that most businesses that are serious about where they're going and have a plan for how they want to grow are probably better served, instead of switching between software every 6 months or every year or every 18 months, are probably better off investing a little bit more earlier on in a solution that will serve them better, that they can grow into over the next 2 to 3 years. And when we talk about all-in-one CRM, listening to episode 22, where I talked about this and about all-in-one CRM being your best first hire, is a good place to start. If you go to solopreneur.com/EP22, I talk about how for £5.48 per day, an all-in-one CRM can be your best first hire. In other words, it can manage a lot of the processes that a junior VA or personal assistant or marketing assistant would do for you manually. So having a think about that and thinking about growth and the long-term impact, and avoiding this scenario of having to constantly switch between software as your needs change or as your business changes, is actually a good way of thinking about where do you want to go. The final question that you will probably want to help with and ask about is the client's budget, this person's budget. How you budget for systems is a topic that I covered on episode 23. If you go to solopreneur.com/EP23, you will be able to hear that episode. The reason I mention this is that if the person that's making this request doesn't really have any budget to fund their CRM request, then something that might serve them better until they're in a position to have that budget is something that they can access for free. For free, they might be better off, instead of going down a rabbit hole of a single point CRM product like a capsule or free HubSpot or something like that, something that ties them into limited processes for the short and the longer term. They actually might be better off until they've defined what their processes need to be and until they've got that momentum of sales and marketing in their business. They might actually be better just setting up a decent online Google spreadsheet or taking a monday.com free subscription to be able to build together some key components that help them to track inquiries and clients into their business. So if budget is literally zero, or they reply by saying, I want to spend as little as possible, that probably means that they don't yet have established processes for how they go about lead generation, how they go about nurturing those leads, how they go about making those sales in their business. And it's all just a little bit ad hoc. For those types of clients, instead of recommending an all-in-one CRM that is probably going to cost them something like £2,000 per year or £200 a month, they're probably better served just going with something that is free for now, but helps them to think about and forces them into a thought process around what their processes need to be in order to get that momentum in their business. So having a listen to episode 23 about how to budget for systems is probably a good place for them to start. So I hope you've got some takeaways from this episode. I covered the 5 aspects of playing CRM bingo. And by all means, please share with them this episode if ever you see a can you recommend a CRM post on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on business forums, because you will see those. Now that I brought them up to you, you'll see those common scenarios of CRM bingo, but you'll also have picked up, either for your own business or for recommendations to others, you'll have picked up on some of the important factors that go into helping either yourself or people that you're advising to come to better decisions about their CRM and about their systems in their business on this episode as well. To get the show notes for this, head to solopreneur.com/EP27. There are various different downloads that are available there. The fun end, the CRM bingo, will be on there, but also at the more serious end, it will also have a guide on there for how to choose CRM or how to recommend a CRM when people ask for it. So I look forward to helping you. If you head to that page, please tell me how you get on. And if there's anything that I can help with, don't hesitate to get in contact once you've downloaded those materials. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Solopreneur Podcast. Remember that what we learned today builds more value if there's a plan to take action on it tomorrow. So head to solopreneur.com and check out our growing community of action takers and all the training and software that you need to build a scalable business without breaking the bank. And if you value the show, please help others to discover it too by leaving us a review wherever you get your podcasts, or by sharing a link to an episode on LinkedIn or wherever your finger does its scrolling.